right, let's do this. Oh. What's up, everybody? All right, we're gonna get started in a bit. Just gonna give it a few and we'll get started. What's up, iPhone? What's up, Scott? Today was a good day, huh? It was fun to trade. Today's class is going to be fun. All right, I'll start in like 5 minutes, okay? Haven't done a class since college. This is a cooler path. A day for me, but I'm over the time to look forward to tomorrow. Let's see, hopefully after today's class, you'll change the way you look at risk. My notes, I wrote notes today for you guys. Like actual paper notes. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Elvado Trades requesting to record this meeting locally. Allow recording. Already send it. All right, Habibis, let's get it. All right, we're gonna start in like 2 minutes. Before I start, I'm just gonna go over a bit of for my actual class. You know, you might not understand much, but it's okay. It's from my previous class. I just wanted to recap with them what we talked about last class. Yes, so I just want to recap what we talked about last class, and then about the dark pools and today's charts and stuff like that, and then we'll get started. Let me just detach this bad boy right here. Detach. Okay. If you're not in my previous class, just ignore this part. Just give me like 5 minutes just to do something real quick, and then we'll get started on the actual class. So last week, guys, for the masterclass mentees, we mentioned that we were watching these levels right here last week, which is 5 trading days ago, which is right here. Yep. Okay, this is where we did the class. Where we spoke about the signature prints on how they can influence the market in a way where you can understand if they're buy orders or sell orders. And I told you at 492.28 and 494.38, we would see a very large move to the upside, which, as you can see, we have seen a very large move. And then 5 days later, when we started to trade at that level, you know, these levels from these dark pool prints became a very strong level into today. You know, when we took puts off the rejection, calls off the hold, and then puts later on as soon as they both rejected that level. You know, yesterday, if you've seen my signals today as well, right here, I told you the sell is coming and it's coming strong. It's simply the only reason I sent that DM saying it's coming is simply because it was rejecting a dark pool level after it broke, came back to retest, rejected. If you take a look at it on a 5-minute time frame, you can see what I mean. We broke the level, we came back, we retested, we rejected, and as soon as this candle engulfed the indecision candle, and this candle engulfed the entire last 5 minutes of the candle, that's when I put it's coming, and we dropped, and we got like 300% or whatever we got percentage on the premium. So I'm gonna go over these dark pools in next classes we do, but today's class is just mainly about risk to reward, uh, win rate, scenarios we can do with risk management, how to build a risk management strategy that is fit for you. So the reason I invited pretty much majority of the Discord today, you can see a lot of people are in here today, is because I think risk management is the key to all trading. And without proper risk management in place, it's definitely hard to establish a, winning strategy in the market. You can be the best fucking trader in the world, but when you have bad risk management, I swear to God, it doesn't really matter because you literally lose it all. And that's what happens to most traders that trade. They'll be on a hot streak. They'll be up 5,000, 6,000, 10,000, 30,000, and then boom, and one day lose every single penny. And it comes from a psychological standpoint, and at the same time, it comes from a risk to reward standpoint. So today, basically, what I'm going to go over is I'm going to go over how I look at risk, how maybe you should look at risk. But there's really no right or wrong answer when looking at risk, because I personally believe that risk management is completely subjective uh, to you as a trader, to you as a person. It all depends on, how much money is in the portfolio, how much money is in the bank, how much money is disposable, how much money can I risk? A lot of people look at risk management is how much can I make, how much can I make, and how much can I make, but they forget to look at the fact is how much will I lose or how much can I risk on a trade. You'll see traders, they'll make $100,000 on a trade. You'll ask them, how much did you risk to make this amount? Tell you he risked $150,000 to make 100K. Is that really a good risk to reward? Not really. Then you look at other traders, they made 100K, but they risked 10,000. This is where you as a trader is different than other people. So today I want to start this off by asking you a simple question. Uh, if you are up $1,000, how much of that $1,000 do you want to keep? So for me, what I mean by this is the way I look at this is after the first 2 hours of trading, first hour of trading is a volatile, whatever my P&L is, I don't care if it's 200, I don't care if it's 5,000, whatever that amount is. The way I look at it is from a risk to reward perspective that, okay, I'm up $1,000. I can take 2 more trades. I can take 3 more trades. I can take 10 more trades. Doesn't really matter the amount of trades I can take. The thing for me is I look at it, okay, I want to keep 70% of what I made, and I want to risk 30% on the next 2 trades. That means, going into any trade, as long as I end the day for me at $700, I am happy. I am in my risk management parameter. That gives me about $300 to risk on, the next 2 trades. And how I risk that, I'll show you here in the next example. Now, I want to ask you, if there were ratios, if there was an 80-20 ratio, a 90-10 ratio, 70-30, 60-40, 50-50. Where do you as a trader lie? There's literally no right or wrong answer. Just type whatever you want in the chat box. 80-20. Jordan B says he's on 80-20. 60-40. 80-20. 80-20. Not 80-20s. 70-30. 75-25. 90-10. On the generous days, 50-50. 70. There's literally not a single wrong answer. Shit, you can be 40-60 if you want. 70-30, 100-0. Right, I'm getting a lot of 75-25. The reason I asked this question in the beginning of the class is simply to show you that there is no right or wrong answer. We all have different risk to reward parameters. So the first thing I want you to do every day before you go into the market, per week, per month, per year, is understand which ratio works best for you. If you are on the highs, which is the 100, 0, 90, 10, 80, 20s, for you as a trader, you don't need to do too many trades. You're looking for mainly one, maybe 2 day trades. For the guys that are sitting at 70, 30, 60, 40, 50, 50, you're the type of person that's going to probably do, 3, 4, maybe even 5 trades per day. So once you kind of establish that as a trader, going into every single day, you want to like set yourself up to always be on your risk to reward parameter. So for this example, we're going to do an example. We're going to do an example, and we're going to do an example, okay, of a person with, a smaller account, and, take the first trade. Trade one. Say trade one, I'm up $500. Okay. And you tell yourself, okay, I want to be on a 70-30. Immediately, right off the bat, I want to be on a 70-30. I'm up $500. I want to keep 70. I want to risk 30. So you're up $500. So 70, 30. So if you want to keep 70, basically, as long as you're up $350, you're okay. Which means that, you have a risk parameter of $150. So in the second trade, how you approach this is completely up to you. There's really no really right or wrong answer for this. Again, if you want to kind of have higher stop losses, for example, your next trade, you could take, 1,000 sizing and have a 15% stop loss. This way, you lose 150 and you're pretty much done for the day. You can also have, 500 sizing with a, how much is it? 500 times 0.30, yeah, 30% stop loss. The outcome is, if you lose $150. So this is from a 1 trade perspective and 2 trade perspective. There's many ways you can kind of utilize that 150. Another way you can look at it is, you know what, I want to take 2 trades today. I don't feel like taking multiple trades today. I'm going to use a 150 with no stop loss. So my last trade is simply going to be a Lotto with no stop loss. In the end, it comes back to minus 150. As you can see from what you see in front of you, you have a trade with no stop loss. You have a trade with a 30% stop loss. You have a trade with a 15% stop loss. All these trade yields the same exact result, negative $150. With this, no matter what, you are still, again, up $350. For you as a trader, you have to understand your sizing. A lot of traders come in with, $1,000 portfolio, and they simply be like, okay, I'll have $1,000 portfolio. By the end of the day, I want the portfolio to be $6,000. Like, be realistic, lower your expectations. If you're up 500% on a $1,000 portfolio, you're up a lot of money. You're up 50% of your entire portfolio. Shit, you're up $100 on that account. You're up 10% of the account. So lower your expectations as a trader. The reason you see us take multiple trades, and it's fine with us to take multiple trades, is because we have established a risk management rule. For me personally, I know you're going to ask this question. What if the first trade is red, Hassan? Yeah, of course. Sometimes the first trade is going to be red. Sometimes the second trade is going to be red. Even sometimes the third trade is going to be red. Coming into the day, I have a number, a maximum number that I am going to lose. Let's say that number is $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever. For me personally, that number, once that minus $10,000 flashes, I don't care if there's a plus setup right in front of me. Finish. My risk that I wanted to risk has been pretty much used. So I want you to look at every single trade from how much am I willing to lose, not how much I'm willing to make. So Hassan, I am red. What if I'm red? Well, on the day or red on the week. You want to look at it from a bird's eye view. At the end of the week, at the end of the month, you tally up your account and you see how much your profit is. Let's say, we look at it from a monthly perspective. We're looking at it from week one. Week one, let's say I'm up $1,000. Nice. Week two, I am also up, $1,500. Week three, I am minus 500. Coming into week four, you add all these together, you get P&L of $2,000. Now, when I'm looking something from a higher time frame, now when I was asking you what is your ratio, I was telling you your ratio on a daily time frame. If your daily ratio is 70-30, if your daily ratio on the day, you're looking at your daily P&L, and you're sitting at a 70-30, your weekly P&L has to be higher, has to be aggressively higher. You need it to be 90-10. Shit. Some of you need it to be 90-10. Some of you, okay, you can do 80-20, 80-20. Some of you who have higher hit rates, you can also do 70-30 as well. But when we're looking at something from a weekly time frame, the higher the number, the better. Your goal is to make money. Your goal is to be profitable. So week four, for me, if I was up 1,000, up 1,500, down 500, which is an incredible risk to reward, I'm looking at it from a 90-10 perspective. I want to keep 90% of this $2,000. 90% of this $2,000, is me keeping 1,800 and me risking 200. So the start of the week, your max risk has to be 200. You lose 200, you're done. Now I know, and most of you guys, if you're at this and you follow it to the T, you'll come out the end of the month green. But a lot of people, what happens is, they're up 1,000 on the first week, they're up 1,500 on the second week, so they're making an average of 200 to 300 bucks per day. That $200, they're gonna look at it, it's okay, it's okay. Let me go a little bit higher. If you feel that the $200 is too little to risk in the beginning of the week, coming into the week completely fresh, then you can definitely lower that number. I mean, increase that number and go to a ratio of 80-20. So when you're looking at something from a weekly perspective, monthly perspective, you want those numbers to be high, those ratios to be high. 90-10, 80-20, 70-30, nothing lower on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. It's like literally telling me if I give you $100,000 right now cash, and when you make the numbers a little bit bigger, actually, let's make it $1 million. If I give you $1 million, so you can feel the number. If I give you $1 million, you have $1 million in your bank account, and you lose 200,000 of it in one day, and you have now 800,000. I'm using an 80-20, Hassan, but yeah, but it's 200,000 now I'm talking about. Not because I'm looking at it from a bird's eye view. When the numbers are larger, people give respect more to money as opposed to, 1,000, and I'm risking 200 here and I'm keeping 800, In the end of the day, this and this is the same thing. But this, I'm looking at it from a yearly perspective, for example. Let's say I actually have $1 million. This, I'm looking at it from a daily perspective. On a day-to-day basis, you can risk. You can take risk. You can literally take risk on a day-to-day basis. But from a weekly perspective, monthly perspective, yearly perspective, all-time perspective, you want to keep the majority of the profit as long as possible. The more profit you keep, the more money you make. Literally. When you add everything up in the end, the more profit you keep, the higher ratios you keep, you will be green. You will be green, bro. You know how many times on a daily basis I go into the profit losses channel, and I've taught this class hundreds of times. I see people, they're up 20% on their portfolio. Let's say they're up, 1,500. This is at 10 a.m. I come back, I check on him, at 4 p.m. He's at like minus 750. This is gambling. This is when you look at trading, like, damn, is trading fucking gambling? Yes, when you're up $1,500 and you end the day 750, yes, of course trading is gambling. Go to close the broker, go to your nearest casino and go blow, $2,500. It's okay, But when I'm looking at it from a trading perspective, you understand trading is a job. I want to make money. I want to stay in this game long enough. There's 365 days in a year, 265 trading days, So in those 265 trading days, the goal is to make money. The goal is to keep money as well. Making money in the market is actually, if you really look at it, you look at the market, you take 3 trades in one day, you're hitting 2 and you're losing one trade, you should be profitable. Technically, yeah, you should be profitable if it's looking at, if you have right risk to reward standpoint. What happens with a lot of people, I'll tell you exactly what happens with a lot of people. What happens is, people will go in, $500, let's go. Next trade plus $500, let's go. All right, man, I'm up $1,000. I think I'm gonna take a large risk. Next trade minus 2,000. Why? It's because there's no risk to reward. There's no ratio in their mind on how much they want to keep. If you look at some of my older students, they post in the morning, they post a screenshot of their profit. They call it an accountability post. Why do you think they're posting this? They're posting it. They want to post it in public, so they themselves say, okay, I'm risking only 70%. I'm gonna literally keep 70% of it. I'm gonna risk 30%. You come back at the end of the day, if he's still green, he did a fucking fantastic job. But if he's red, he did not follow his rules. You have rules. You all have rules. Coming into the day, I want you to establish a number. For me, it's always 70-30. I like 70-30. If I'm feeling like absolute dog shit, mentally not there, I'm going through it mentally, it's 90-10. It's 80-20. You have to, if I'm green, I'm at an advantage. Might as well keep the majority of it as opposed to going back in, going back in, going back in. Most people trade like it's their last trade. The people that blow their portfolio every week or every other week, bro, every time you blow your portfolio, you tell, oh, this is the last time. This is the last time. I'm not gonna do it again. This is the last time I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this. Trust me, bro. The only reason I'm telling you, I'm talking to you like this is I'm talking to you from fucking experience. I wouldn't be up here if there's no experience. I understand what you're going through. You tell yourself, okay, it's the last time. It's the last time. I'm not gonna do it again. And then you full fucking port again, and then it comes back to the same fucking outcome. So I want you every day to establish a ratio. Let's say if you keep blowing portfolios, I want you to be at 80-20 and 90-10. If you have a family, if you have kids, if you have mouths to feed, I want you to be at an 80-20, 90-10, shit, even 100-0. If you are younger, you don't have a family, you don't have kids, you have nobody to feed but your fat ass self, you can sit at, 70-30, 60-40, shit. 5 years ago, I'm sitting at 50-50, bro. I have no worries in the world. Now, I'm getting older. I want to save money for the future. I'm sitting at those 70-30s, 80-20s. If you have a family, you have a kid, you have a wife, you need to provide for the house, you want this to be a full-time job, you have to start treating it like a full-time job. So coming into the day, I want you to establish what is going to be your ratio. Type it for me. Type it for me. What is your ratio there? Because honestly, my students, I'm gonna fucking call you out, bro. I can see your name, I see everything. During Hala, I'm gonna fucking straight up tell you, bro, like 70-30, 95-5. Here, you got 95-5. 70-30. 70-30, gang. Usually 70-30 makes the most money. I have a tight risk management, only need 33% win to stay profitable. Could you explain the ratio? Trust me, brother, this class is going to explain everything. Now, before I go to the next question, the next topic, I mean, I want to talk to you something about called risk to reward. So risk to reward and win rate goes hand in hand to each other. But what is risk to reward? You see it all the time. RR, 2 RR, 1 RR. What is this? So, okay, I have a question here. If I want to use $1,000 a trade on an 80-20, that means I can only lose 200 in a trade? No. So, what I'm telling you is basically if you are up, $1,000 on your trade, and you want to basically keep $800 and in your next trades only risk $200. That way you can always remain in the green. So again, basically I'm up 1,000. Okay, let's say I'm doing 80-20. So I want to keep 800 on a risk 200, and I want to do two trades. How can I do this? Oh, okay, I can do $1,000 trades times 10% stop loss gives me minus $100. I can do two of these trades. I yield in the end minus $200. Well, that's a little bit too much for me. I can also do two trades, $100 sizing, no stop loss, no SL. Yields the same $200. There's many ways you can kind of typically keep this risk. There's so many ways. You can do 500 with a 15% stop loss. You can do 250 with a 75% stop loss. There's so many ways you can do this. But basically what I'm trying to tell you is if the first trade is green, if your first trade is green, you should never, not never, listen, never is a strong word, most of the time, majority of the time, you should always end the day green, if you're up $100 on the first trade, what can you do, man? Finish, and let's say you're up $100. Yes, I'm up $100 on a trade, but I want to risk more. Then, you have to look at risk from a weekly perspective, from a monthly perspective. If you're up 10,000 on the fucking month, yeah, you can risk a little bit more. It's okay. But if you're down 5,000 on the month, you're down 3,000 on the week, there's $2,000 left in your bank account. There's only 5,000 left in the portfolio. Then you have to take what the market gives you. It gave you $200 today, gives you $200 today. Tomorrow it can give you 1,000. There's a new day to trade almost every single day. So when we're looking at a trade, this one I'm gonna type it. This one I'm gonna type it because easier to type. Okay, when we're looking at a trade, you see the word risk to reward or RR. What is RR? You see 1-to-1 RR. This basically means I risk $100 to make $100. Basically, a 1 RR trade would be, let's say, $1,000, 10% stop loss equal $100 risk with take profit at plus 10% equal plus $100 profit. So this, you do see a lot of people do this. They're 1-to-1 risk to reward people. Now, if I'm a scalper, this, yeah, it's good. But if all your trades are 1-to-1, to make money in the market, you have to be correct 60% of the time. And if you ask me, being correct 60% of the time is a little bit too much. Sorry, 1 second, my camera just fell. Damn, that scared the shit out of me. Scared the shit out of me. Okay. So you have to be correct 60% of the time. Basically, out of 10 trades you take, 6 of them have to be winners, and 4 are losers. You will be profitable. You will be profitable only if you make 60% of the trades correct, which, if you really ask me, it's a very, very hard thing to do, to be 60% correct of the time. Now, the ideal risk to reward that you see on a daily basis is usually the 2-to-1 risk to reward. Risk to reward. This is 2-to-1 RR. You're risking 100 to make 200. So from a profit, same one, basically, I have 1,000, 10% at 10% stop loss. That gives me minus $100, and 1,000 at plus 20% take profit. I get this. I get plus $200. So from a 2-to-1 risk to reward, you have to be 40% correct, and you will be profitable. So out of 10 trades you take, if 4 of them go green and 6 go red, you are green. Now, ask yourself, you guys all mainly trade SPX, so let's be real. This is a bit more hard to do, but when you're looking at it from a risk management perspective, well, I'm risking 10% to make 20%. Yeah, but you can also risk 20% to make 40%. Doable? Yeah. You can also risk 30% to make 60%. You see my stop losses, they're always 30%. Why? And my take profits, half out, majority out, 60%, 70%, 100%. Why? It's because I am willing to risk 30%. So when I'm going into a trade with $1,000, my risk is minus $300. My reward is plus 600. If you're not looking at a trade from this way, you are looking at it completely wrong. This is how you're supposed to look at every single trade. And today is the perfect example of how this trade actually works. We took out 2 trades, they were like 5 RR if you really look at it. And I'm going to explain to you why it's 5 RR. So this is a 2-to-1 risk reward. Now, my favorite, and what I think a lot of people should look to get is a 3-to-1 risk to reward. Now, this one, you are basically risking 100 to make 300. In this scenario, 1,000 at, let's say 10% stop, minus 100, 1,000 at 30% take profit. I get plus 300. And, with this one, this is in the long run, if you aim for these quality trades, you only have to be right 30% of the time. and you will still be profitable. Can you tell me, uh, like, let's be fucking real. Like, if I ask you a question, how easy it is to be correct 30% of the time? Like, think about it. Oh, I could be a dumbass, I only need to get 30% correct and still be green. Yes, because it's all risk to reward. You're looking at something from how much am I willing to risk and how much am I willing to make. Don't worry about all the questions. I swear to God, they're all going to get answers because I'm about to go into the chart. I'm about to go into the option perspective. I'm going to go through everything. So if you are a scalper, you're mainly sitting right here, unfortunately, and you're mainly on the tighter stop loss. You have to be correct majority of the time, and you have to have tight stop losses, tight take profits. When I first started trading, I was a one-to-one risk to reward trader. What I realized is I'm a greedy son of a fucking bitch. And the problem is when I sell at plus 10 and I see it go plus 30, plus 40, it would kill me from inside. I don't know why. It would honestly, and most of the trades would sell plus 10, 30 minutes later, plus 75. An hour later, plus 300%. So for me, the one-to-one risk to reward way, because I was greedy when I was first starting out, this way of looking at risk management for me, it did not work for me, this way, I have to be correct most of the time to be profitable. And not only do I have to be correct most of the time, I have to have a very, very tight knit stop loss, and you can look at it any other way. You can look at it from a minus 20 stop loss, take profit plus 20. And on choppy days, I am a one-to-one trader on choppy days. Because not every day is going to be a 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1, 6-to-1 risk to reward type of thing. Some days you're gonna have a 1-to-1 and that's that. Monday, AMD, we risked 20%, we were down 20%, and it gave us a high of 40%, but we ended up getting stopped out at plus 20 because it just did not go. Premium did not move. I'm not gonna sit there and hold it. Oh, I want more. I want more. So with this, for me personally, because of the way I am programmed, a one-to-one risk to reward in the long run, it did not work for me. It's just too much risk. It's like saying, I have a stop loss at minus 50% and a take profit at plus 50%. If it works for you, it works for you. For me, it just wasn't like satisfying enough for me. You know, another way you can look at it is 100%. Basically, I'm holding to 0 or plus 100%. That's what most lotos are. You're really risking, minus 100% to make 100%. Now, when you're looking from a 2-to-1 risk to reward, now this one is very doable because I don't have to be right more than half the time. I have to be correct only 40% of it. And at the same time, it's very doable when we're trading SPX, to risk 20% to make 40%, to risk 30% to make 60%. I want you to look at every trade from not a dollar amount perspective. I want you to look at it from a risk to reward perspective. If you go into your charts and you see like, oh, Hassan, my biggest loss on the day is $1,000. Okay, what's your biggest one? $500. So you're telling me you will hold down $1,000, but you will take profit plus $500? Your risk to reward is completely terrible. If you're willing to hold down $1,000, you should be at least able to make at least $2,000. You know, I swear I'm going to answer your question. I swear to God. Wallah, it's the questions. It's literally after this. So I have to be 40% correct in this case. And my risk is okay. I'm risking 20%. Like, for example, what this means in this case right here is basically saying you know, actually, let me typing is much better, it looks much cleaner. Is I'm looking at $1,000, you know, 20% stop loss, SL, and 40% take profit. Take profit. So basically, if I buy 10 contracts at $1, my SL is literally at 80 cents. My take profit is simply $1.40. You know, when you're looking at it in this way, you know, yeah, this is very doable at trading options. I can take an entry at a dollar. I can put a hard stop loss at 80 cents, and I'm gonna take profit at $1.40. You know, you do this 10 times. If you do this 10 times, you know, and you are wrong 6 times, but you are correct 4 times, you will end up green at the end of the day. How? Why? Let's fucking do it. I'll literally do the math for you. Okay, let's say trade 1, you know, I'm making, let's use 1,000, let's use let's say trade 1 through 4, you know, they're all hit. I make $400. Trade 5 through 10, I lose minus 200 on each one. So 6 times 200 is 1,200. Basically, in losses, my losses are 1,200. My 4 trades that were winner at 400 is 1,600. And I come out green $400. You see, I come out green regardless. I am wrong 6 times. 6 times, not 5, not 4. I'm wrong 6 times. So once you kind of dumb it down, like, oh, okay, I could take 10 freaking trades. I can be wrong 6 fucking times. I just have to be right 4 times. I mean, let's be real. Can you be right 4 times? If I give you 10 trades to take, how many would you say you are right at least 40% of the time? Like in your trades that you look at, do you feel like you're sitting at least at a 40%? Yeah, I mean, it's a very doable task. It's the problem that people, they get sucked into, I want to make 1,000, I want to make 10,000, I want to make 15,000, and they just forget all this out the door. So when you're looking at trades, especially day trades, you know, you want to look at a 2-to-1 risk to reward. If you're at a 2-to-1 risk to reward, I fucking promise you, I swear to God, if you look at all your trades from a 2-to-1 perspective, for example, you know, determine it. I'm going to scalp today. You know, I don't feel too well. I don't feel like looking at the screen today. I don't want to trade too much. I'm going to scalp today. I'm looking to make one-to-one RR. I'm risking $1,000. I want to make $1,000. If it goes minus 1,000, boom, I'm out. If it goes plus 1,000, boom, I'm out. That's it. I'm a scalper. I have identified what I want to do. You know, I don't want to trade all day long. I got a bunch of shit to do. 2-to-1 risk to reward. You know, I'm a day trader. I have time. I have nothing to do. I just want to take risk. I want to manage my risk properly. You know, I'm entering the position. You know, I'm having a wider stop loss. You know, with this one, I like to be at risk of 20%, 30%. You know, if you see me in my signals, the half out, the quarter out, the majority out, they're always at 40, 60, 80, 100%, because it makes sense for my risk management. You know, why I get today, why I'm getting happy about the trades, because from a risk to reward standpoint, they're all 3-to-1, 4-to-1. Bro, when they're 4-to-1, 3-to-1, it's beautiful, you know, because it's a stress-free. You even tell me, oh, today is so stress-free. You know, it's stress-free because the risk is managed. I promise you, if it had went minus 70 and then it went plus 20, you'd be like, oh my God, that was a really hard hold. Yeah, well, we're fucking risking 70% to make 20%. It doesn't make sense. We're risking $700 to make $200. If I'm risking $700, I should at least be making 700 at bare minimum. 1 to 1. If the market is dog shit, at least 0.5 to 1. You know, I'm going to talk about the average down as well. If you are at a 3 to 1 risk to reward, I swear to God, you know, being 30% accurate is actually, I would say, is actually pretty easy. Now, having a proper 3 to 1 RR, you know, this could be, you know, if I'm risking 30%, you know, I want to at least be making 90%. You know, there's multiple ways you can look at it. If I'm risking 20%, for example, I want to be making at least 60%. You know, this is 3 to 1 RR. You know, if I'm risking, you know, 100%, the whole thing, if I'm making 300%, shit, it's a good fucking trade. It's a good trade. You know, you want to look at risk to reward. Oh, damn. Hold on. Fuck. Thank God. You want to be looking at risk to reward from a perspective of how am I going to make money as a trader. You know, you have to look at every trade you take from a risk to reward standpoint. You know, there's literally no right or wrong way to look at this. There's absolutely no right or wrong way. That's why you see people sizing for zero on every trade. They size for zero on every trade, yet they're still profitable. How are they still profitable? They're profitable because they have a proper risk management strategy. It all starts with risk management. If your risk management is proper, I swear to God, you will have life gets so much better. I'm talking from proper from legit from proper experience. Like life starts to move way better because I have established how much I want to risk. So step one coming into every single day, yo, how much money do I want to risk? Ask yourself, how much money you want to lose today? Send for me, talk to me. How much money you want to lose today? Type 200, 5,000. There's no right or wrong answer. 300. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of 300s. 2K max, 200, 140, 500. Beautiful. $15. Shit. Okay. Beautiful. So I'm seeing a lot of $300. $300, gang. $200, $200. If you're risking 300, if you're risking $300 and you're not making at least $300, bro, you're trading completely wrong. You're trading completely wrong. Risk less. If you're risking $500 and at least not making 1,000 or 500, you are trading completely wrong. To the guys that said 150, Buccalo, you should be making $300 on a normal day, you know, on a shitty choppy day, at least $150. Because that way, you know, that way, simply, you know, why you need to do this is because you're trading. You want to do this full time. You don't want to do this once and finish. You know, I'm gonna quit after I lose. You know, so establish the dollar amount you want to lose. Okay. Can I pick on one of you guys who has pretty dog shit risk management? All right, beautiful. Andrew, come. What's your max risk, bro? Like the max you lose. All or nothing on my comments. Okay, so just give me a number, bro. This guy's too degen. Okay. Who here has a problem where, you know, their losses are so huge and their wins are small? Okay, beautiful. The ones that, you know, your losses are large. How much are your losses? And your wins. How much is your wins? This your losses. Okay, how much is your wins? Your average losses, is this. Beautiful, beautiful. I found one. I found my guy. I'm sorry, bro, but I'm gonna have to use you as an example. We have a guy right here. I'm not gonna say his name, but he risks 1,300 and he makes profit. Damn, where is he? 500. If he does this, he will never, if he keeps doing what he's doing, this guy, I'm not gonna say your name, bro. It's okay, don't worry. He will never, never make money in the market. No matter what the fuck he does, he will never make money. He's willing to risk 1,300, to make $500. So let's just say, this guy is using $2,000 per position. I'll just say for this case. In this case, this guy right here, $2,000 on the position, he has roughly 70% stop loss, SL, and his profit is plus 25. Before he even took a trade, he lost. Before he even took a trade, he lost. This guy it's impossible for him to make money because every trade he's holding down 70%, and as soon as he sees green, he's up 25%. The problem here for this guy is his sizing is too large. His sizing is too large. What if, you want to make 500? If you want to make 500, your risk is 250, brother. Nothing more, nothing more. If at max, your risk should be 500. You're risking more than 500 to make 500. You are doing it completely wrong. Well, Hassan, how can I do this? My position sizing is 2,000. You don't fucking size with 2,000. For example, you go with 1,000, let's say stop loss 25%, take profit 50%. Shit, my take profit is a bit too high, Hassan. I don't think I can hold to 50%. Well, we can use a stop loss of 10% and a take profit of, 20%. You are the one in charge. You are the one in charge of how much money you are willing to risk. A lot of people are risking much more than they can afford. And then they wonder, how do you blow the portfolio? It's because, bro, your win rate is slow. Your win rate is not that high. You are risking more than you're willing to make. Bro, look at it from how much. If your daily goal is $100, bro, risk 50. Don't risk anything more. You're risking more. This is when trading turns into gambling. And I know for a fact a lot of people are in that position where, holy shit, I know I can do it, but I'm stuck. This is where you're stuck. You're stuck in the risk management portion of it. It's hard. It's hard because you are sitting here risking $1,300, and as soon as it's plus 500, you're immediately exiting. It's too much size. It's too much risk. It's too much stop loss. So when we're looking at a risk to reward standpoint, here is my PowerPoint for today. One slide PowerPoint. Simple. When we're looking at a risk to reward standpoint, if I'm looking one-to-one every single time, I have to be correct 60% of the time. It's hard. With a 2-to-1, it's very doable, and we do it on all the trades. A 40% win rate, and I'm green. Shit, 60%, I'm balling. 70, I'm amazing. 80, oh my God, I'm killing it. 90, 100, I'm killing it. 3-to-1, 3-to-1 traders is traders like, you see them in the Discord all the time. They're sizing, they're holding, and they hold to 100%, 200%, 300%. They only need to be correct 30% of the time. With a 4-to-1 with a 5-to-1, you know, you gotta be correct 20% of the time. And 5-to-1, let's be real, it doesn't happen every day. Risking 10% to make 50% or risking 20% to make 100%. You know, it happens. Don't get me wrong, it happened today for us, but it doesn't happen every day. Now, I also get this question, Hassan. Sometimes you use levels. You use levels as opposed to percentages. What can I do there? Beautiful. I love this question, and I'm going to talk about this question right now. Hassan, I like to use levels. Okay, beautiful. Let's use levels then. There's many ways of looking, and this exact way I'm about to show you, this is for the futures traders. This is for the ones that like to trade futures. So if I'm looking at it from a SPY chart right here, I have a SPY chart, beautiful. And I'm gonna go SPX. I'm gonna remove my beautiful levels right here that are flooded everywhere. And I look at a trade from a perspective like this. Let's say, you know, market has established, you know, kind of a range right here. And I want to take a setup break on this range right here. Let's say, you know, you see this right here, you know, the high of today, the low of today, and you can kind of see it kind of bouncing as soon as the structure kind of breaks at this 454, you know, I want to take kind of puts at this structure. And I have a PT of 39.20. You know, we had 39.19, but let's just say we have a PT of 39.20. Okay, so from 4945 to 49.20 is plus 25 points. Correct? When we entered puts today, I signaled the puts right here actually. Let's say I put my stop loss at 49.50. Right here is my stop loss, 49.50. So my risk in this case, if I'm entering at 3945, my risk is this right here, minus 5. So I'm risking $5 to make $25. So for this type of trade, this is a 5-to-1 RR. From a futures perspective, to look at this, you're looking at it as you're literally risking 5 points to make 25. From an options perspective, the same thing, you know, with these 5 points, it all depends. Am I buying an ODT contract? If I'm buying an ODT contract, you can take a look at these 5 points. If you're wrong, you're probably going to be down maybe 30 to 40%. Let's just say, you know, 35% as a round number. Now, I do not know if it's going to be 30%. I do not know if it's going to be 40% or maybe even 50%. So when I'm going into these trades, my sizing is lower. You know, I'm not, if I go back to that same example, you know, 1,000, and I want to keep 70% of this 1,000, 70, 30, you know, and I have $300 to play with, you know, I'm not going to go with 1,000, you know, with a 30% stop loss in this case, you know, I'm going to potentially go, you know, $500 in this, you know, with a, you know, a 75% stop loss. Now, I don't have to hold to 75, you know, because I'm just giving myself room for this trade to work out. But I know I'm risking 5%. It could be 30%, it could be 40%. At this 5 points, you know, if it goes or rejects at this area, I could buy more, add more size, or as the trade works out in my favor, I could add at the dips, at the highs. So in this case right here, I'm risking 5 to make 25. My sizing is lower because I am not sure the exact percentage that I'm going to go down. If you look at the signal today, you see minus 50% stop loss. Why is it so high, Hassan? I'm risking 50%. Yeah, well, I took a trim at 220%. You know, I'm risking 50. I risk 50. I make $200. 200%. I'm at a 4-to-1 RR. It's an incredible trade. Just had a wider stop loss, less size. Size was smaller. You know, Size was $500, you know. I was willing to risk 250. I made 1,500. This is a 10 out of 10 trade for me. So for me, you know, depending on the time, you know, because it is the last hour of the day, you know, for these 5 points, contract is probably going to be 40%, 50%. So I want to lessen my size because I'm using a point as opposed to levels, as opposed to a hard stop loss. If it was in the morning, you know, I could potentially size, you know, for a potential 20, 30%, but I'm trading at the last hour. The last hour, $1, you're wrong. It goes minus 30 very fast. So my sizing is decreased, decreased, decreased. But the way you kind of look at this, you know, and then if you want to look at it from perspective, other perspective, is this the perspective? So this is my risk in this box, you know, this is red. I'm going to make this red. And this is my reward. So from a risk to reward perspective, I'm risking 5. I'm willing to lose 5 to make plus 25. 5 to 1 RR. You know, this doesn't matter when you sell or how much money you make, but from a risk to reward perspective, when this trade hits, this is a beautiful, you know, A+ setup type of trade. And you don't get these all the time, but once you kind of get them, you want to kind of take advantage of the risk and how much you're willing to lose. You know, this is like simply saying I'm risking $100 to make 500, you know. But I'm looking at it from a levels perspective. How many points? You know, my entry is at 49.45. My stop loss is at 49.50. My take profit is at 49.20. Now, in these trades, what happens is, you know, if you are lucky, like today, is these trades never go red. You know, we pinpointed the entry and it never went red. And it immediately kind of goes green. As soon as if you're into these contracts and as soon as it goes green, if you simply add a stop at break even, or you take a trim, you know, for example, let's say we've established, you know, 30% SL, but it never went minus 30. It never went, it maybe went minus 5, you know, and you see me at plus 30, guys, take a trim. But why am I taking a trim, Hassan? You know, it's from a risk to reward. You know, it's not that it's not a good risk to reward. You know, you have a planned stop loss at minus 30. It's currently plus 30. Yeah, but it never went red. It only went red minus 5. You know, so from a risk to reward standpoint, this is a 6 to 1 RR actually, because it never went red. Just because my planned stop loss is minus 30. It only went minus 5. Shit, at plus 30, I'm taking a trim. At plus 40, I'm taking a trim because I'm out of 7. At plus 50, I'm taking a trim. I'm taking trim as they go up, you know, or I'm adding a stop loss break even. I'm removing my minus 30 stop loss and I'm adding it at break even. Once I add the stop loss at break even, it is a completely risk-free trade. Zero risk on the line. And you see me do it all the time. Sometimes I'll do it, you know, I'll give it room, like AMD, for example. I wanted it to go 100%. I wasn't risking much. I was risking 20%. If it went 100%, that's 5 to 1 RR. You know, you have to look at it from different perspective. How much money am I risking in order to win? If my plan is at minus 30, but it only goes plus minus 10, I killed the entry. My entry is spot on, you know, my entry spot. What if we only have one contract? Bro, sell it. Sell it. You're coming into the trade with a planned risk to rewards game plan, you know, and not only did your planned risk to reward work out, but it gave you more risk to reward. At a stop break even, you know, that's way it's completely risk free. It can go 6 to 1, 5 to 1 RR, you know, it can go as much as you want, or, you know, take profit at plus 30, plus 40, plus 50. or you're planned plus 60. It's okay. I planned, I'm okay. You see me entering the trade on Monday. I don't know if you were in the trade with me on Monday, but on Monday, AMD was down 20%. When it went up 40%, it's okay. It went up 20%, then it came right back to break even, then it went to minus 10. I was still holding it because my planned RR is fine. It's at minus 30. Going into the trade, immediately in my mind, I was willing to lose $300. So if it goes plus 100, then it goes minus 200, and then it goes back up, how are you holding it? Because it's still within my risk parameters that I set for myself. If it had gone, minus 70, if it had gone plus 20, then minus 70, and then plus 10, I'm going to probably take a profit of plus 10 because it is outside of the bounds of my risk to reward perspective. And it happens all the time. You take that one fucking trade and that one trade fucks it up because you don't follow your risk to reward plan. You don't follow your ratios that how much money you want to keep. And then on that trade, you're full size, you're probably all in, you're probably 50% of the port, you're down 50%, your emotions kick in. It's simple. Your emotions will always kick in, regardless who we are. We're all human. We're money. We're using money to make money. So if you're using money, if you're using the tool of money to make money, the goal is to risk less, to make a lot. That's why when you see other people post screenshots, oh, I made $30,000 today. How much did you risk? I risked 10 grand. Oh, that's a good fucking trade. That's a 3 to 1 RR. But if he tells you, oh, I made 30 grand today, I risked 60K. I was in the hole for 60 and I came up 30. I'm sorry, but it's shit risk management. I used to do it. And I'm telling you, I used to be a bad risk managed trader. To start to increase my gains, to start to increase my trading, if risk reward is not there, you will never fucking win in this game. This game is cutthroat, ruthless. You know, Same way here. We look at it from a premium perspective. Let's go from a premium perspective. 39.40. Let's say Roman. So with your problem, it's an entry problem. You know, uh, you can always re-enter the play. It's better to get stopped out at minus 20 and re-enter at a later price than get stopped out at minus 70 and be like, fuck, I can't trade now. I lost all my gains for the day. So you have to ask yourself, am I more of a levels type of guy or am I a premium type of guy? If you're a premium type of guy, and you're trading SPX, good fucking luck. It's hard. It's not as easy as you want it. This is like SPX 49.40. 10 cents the whole day, shot up to $5, came right back down to $1, then shot up to freaking 12. 49.30, same exact thing. You know, Boom. All day, 65 cents. Shot up all the way to $5, then shot up all the way to 13, then dropped all the way to 8, then shot up all the way to 25. If you're a levels type of guy, you want to pretty much focus on your sizing. Your sizing is supposed to be less. So instead of risking 1,000, instead of going position size 500, 1,000, you're going 500, you're going 250 because you're a levels type of guy. You could be down 70%, but your risk to reward is still in place. It's all good because your sizing is managed. When I type size for zero in my signals, when I type Lotto, it's simply because I want you to size less. I want you to have a wider stop loss so you can hold, you can hold the trade. Now, when we're looking at a risk to reward like this, for example, let's say we take this trade at, $4. Let's just say we enter $4. Entry. So this is my entry, okay? And I want to risk, you know, this is my stop loss. I'm risking 50%. So this is my entry right here, make it in blue. At $6 right here, this is a 1-to-1 risk to reward. It's a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Why? Because I'm risking $200 to make $200. Now, if I'm in a volatile market, you know, and my goal is simply to scalp, it's a good trade. It's okay, you know. But you should be aiming, you know, if you're risking this much, understand it's only because my risk is that much. This is 2-to-1. This is your golden kind of setup. This is what you really want, that 2-to-1 RR. You know, when we're looking at $10 now, this is a 3-to-1. This is a superstar kind of risk to reward. You know, your entry is at 4, your planned stop loss is at 2, 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1. You should be looking to make, you know, right here. Now, when my sizing is heavy, you know, you see me, I'll trim it right here. I'll trim half the position. Like, let's say I have 10 contracts, you know, I took 10 contracts at 4. So I took 4,000 contracts, $4,000 into this position, and I'm risking, basically my plan, the risk is 2,000. So if I lose, I'll lose $2,000 on this trade if I took 10 contracts, you know. When I'm here at 6, you know, I'm up 2,000, you know, if I trim 3 contracts right here, and then I trim 3 contracts right here, and I trim 3 contracts right here, you know, how much money do I make? So, well, on the first trim, 3 contracts, you know, the first trim, 200 is profit times 3, so profit is plus 600, okay? Second trim, I'm trimming at $8, you know, profit is 400 times 3 is 1,200. Right here, 1,000 minus 400 times 3. Here, my profit is plus 1,800. And I have one runner. Let's say we hold this bad boy runner. We go crazy with the runner and we sell the runner at 18. Runner sold. Last runner sold. And profit at 1,800 minus 400 is plus 1,400. And this is me trimming at every single level. You see me trim all the time. You're trimming, you're trimming. So my profit now, my total profit on this trade is 5,000. So my risk is 2,000. My planned risk. And I made plus $5,000 on this trade. 2.5 to 1. RR. I'm risking 1 to make 2.5. You know, so when I'm trimming at my trim levels, you see me, I put them up there. You know, I'm just making sure I can secure profit. Yes, I might be putting the trim at the first 1-to-1 RR, but I have my stop loss now at my $4 entry. So there's no more risk. It's a completely risk-free trade. You know, when I trimmed at $6 and they went to $8, now my stop loss is at $6. Not only now am I at no risk, I am making money even if it gets stopped out. When I trim at 8 and it goes to 10, now my stop loss is at 8. So now if it goes my way and I have the planned stop loss, my stop loss is at a 2-to-1 RR, so I'm completely fine. That's why I let runners do its thing. You know, and then the last runner, you know, sold. is for me, from my perspective, 1,800. 1,800 divided by 400, you know, I mean, is here's 4, 5, 6, 7 to 1 RR up here. If you can hold all the way from 4 to 18 and have a stop loss here, incredible, incredible. I have some questions here, let me answer them. What stop do I use? If I'm sizing heavy, let's say, I have $10,000 into the position, I'm gonna use the 30% stop loss. I like the 30% stop loss when I'm trading SPX. Now, many ways you can look at this 10,000, if I'm buying 100 contracts, I could buy, I can start by buying, 20 contracts, then I can buy another 20, and I can buy 40, I can buy 60, and I can slowly build the position at certain price points so I can keep maintaining my risk. You trade with active trader? I do. So if I sold at 30%, re-entered, would I still be risking minus 30 or risk less as I'm already down for the day? Or should I size for zero and hold? However, my profits would be extremely small due to my account size. I would have to take profit early as I would only be holding one contract. In that case, I'm trading a 2K account. For you, it's okay to take profit early. Your goal is to build the account. Your goal is to fall into the risk parameters. Before you think about making, the large gains, we want to mentally, prepare ourselves to how much money we lose. We want to keep our risk in check. So with your case, if you follow your risk management strategy and you focus on a 2-to-1 risk to reward, you really don't need to be, you don't really need to do too much to be profitable, 2-to-1, you're winning 40% of your trades, I'm going to assume, you're gonna make money. When you take profit, do you always move your stop loss to your previous level, enter your previous PT? Yes. And I'm talking now if I'm trading in a large portfolio. When I was trading my 100,000 or 200,000 portfolio, yes, 100%. When I'm trading those smaller portfolios, I'm willing to take a little bit more extra risk, I would say. How do you know when you're adding size, you aren't averaging into a losing position if you're down 30%? Will you average or cut the loss? Depending on the trade. If it's well in my risk parameters, I can add, if I'm willing to lose, $300 on a position, and it's down $200, I could add a little bit more size, and as long as it remains into my risk parameters, then it's all good. But if it's a failing trade, it's all depending on the setup. It really all depends on how you look at risk. Now, before I go, I want to talk about another way to look at risk and momentum. I'm going to use a whiteboard as well. And I'm going to go right now. And then I'm going to do one last example. I have example, I didn't even follow my notes today. Nice. So let me take a water break real quick. 1 second. I'm about to die. Water break check. All right. What's next? Okay. So the 2K account example. Now, I'm using 2K because I feel like it's a solid number, where most people tend to kind of be at. So I have $2,000 in my portfolio. Cool. So we want to establish what is the max we want to lose for the day. Let's be real here. If you look at any risk management book, they'll tell you you don't want to lose more than 1% of your portfolio. You don't want to lose more than 1% of your portfolio. Well, with my $2,000 portfolio, $2,000 portfolio, if I'm only risking, if I am risking 1%, I am risking $20. Now let's be fucking real with each other. And you can be my guest and risk $20 to make $40 on any on a trade, but you're pretty much setting yourself up for kind of failure just because uh it's hard to risk only 1% of your account when your account is small. So in the beginning stages, you're gonna have to take a little bit extra risk in the beginning. So for this case, let's establish max risk at 10%, which gives me $200 risk to play with. When you're starting out, if I have $1 million portfolio, then okay, 1% is good. If I have 100,000 portfolio, sure, 1% is good. But when I'm trading with $2,000 and I'm only risking $20 to make $40, I mean, at this point, you're better off, getting a normal job and working, and because it's gonna take you like what, 40 fucking years to make money, to make a livable wage with risking $20 to make $40, or risking $20 to make $80. In the beginning it's okay, but as you start to kind of want to do this full time, you need at least a good amount of risk to kind of play. $200 is a very reliable risk, because if I'm establishing, step one, max loss of $200 for the day. So if I'm looking to risk $200, ideally, what should I be looking to make? Step two is establish a risk to reward strategy. Okay. Gang saying 400. So if I'm looking from a 1-to-1 perspective, I'm looking to risk 200 to make 200. And like we said, in this case, I have to be accurate 60% of the time. And if we're being honest, in the beginning of your trading journey, 1-to-1 perspective, risking 200 to make 200, accurate 60% of the time, it's very hard to do. 2-to-1 perspective is we are risking 200 to make 400, and I have accurate 40% of the time. 3-to-1 perspective, I'm risking 200 to make 600, and accurate only have to be accurate 30% of the time. So this is how you should look at the risk. Now, if my max loss for the day is 200, would it be a good idea for me as a trader to risk 200 to make 200, or even risk 200 to make 400? That's my max loss for the day. That's my max loss for the day. What would be a better kind of look for this? So because okay, if I were to do this, if I were to do any of these right here, and I lose one trade, what is the outcome? I lose one trade. One trade. I'm done for the day. I'm down 200. One trade, I'm done. You're done, and you lost 10% of your portfolio. So how do you look at this, Hassan? What can we do, you know, in order to make this a little bit better for us? So we've established, the max I want to risk, but it's still the beginning. I don't have any profits on the portfolio. Because I have no profits on the portfolio, we should look to kind of play with $100, $100 risk to make $200, or $50 risk to make $100. Just because you have a $200 risk, doesn't mean I have to use it every single day. You want to build the portfolio slowly. If you make $100 today, then tomorrow you make 150, then the next day you lose 50. At least when you're on using this smaller area right here, once you lose, you have a losing red day, it's not $200, which is more than how much you're already risking or how much you're going to make. So that way, you're protected till you slowly grow your portfolio. And once you're at, let's say, 500%, $500 profit, like, okay, now I can use 80/20 on this bad boy, and I'm up $500, and $500 times 80. I want to pretty much keep 400, risk 100, and then with this 100 you can slowly kind of build it. In the beginning stages, your goal is to build the portfolio. You saw Emilio straight today. He had $1,000 in his portfolio. He didn't even risk nowhere. He risked what, $60 to make 500 or 300 or whatever the fuck he made. He's keeping the risk small in the beginning because the goal is to build the portfolio. As you start to build the portfolio and as you start to have a profit, then you can be like, okay, I can go back to my max loss. This way, I'm keeping my losses and my risk below 10%, maybe 5%, maybe 6%, maybe 3%, maybe 2%, but I understand that, if I take, two trades, $100 risk, if it hits my stop loss, two trades, I'm all out on bread for the day. Here, I can take at least 4 trades and still be in my realm right here, what happens if you take a contract worth 250 and I want to risk 200? Should I take one that is 200 even if it's out of the money more? No. So by risk, in this case, equals how much you lost. So in your case, if the contract is $250, where's your stop loss? If your stop loss is 10%, for example, your risk is only $25. Your risk is $25, If your stop loss is 80%, then your risk is $200. But if the contract is $250 and you only want to risk $200, you can enter one contract with an 80% stop loss, or you can enter two contracts, $500 into the trade with a 10% stop loss, you lose $50. $1,000, you can buy 4 contracts with $1,000 and you can put a 20% stop loss. You still get that same minus $200. When I'm looking at risk, I'm not looking at the price of the contract. I'm looking at where will I exit once the trade goes red. If it's at minus 20, if it's at minus 10%, my risk is only $25 in this case. You don't have to take a position, another one that's $200 that out of money, because the contract price does not matter. We're looking at how much do I lose when the trade goes into my different direction. First trade, break even or loss. Do you go back to max loss next day? Can you clarify that trade? What do you mean by that? By that question? Please tell me I'm recording this. Oh yeah, thank God. I almost had a heart attack. I'm almost done, by the way. Sorry, guys. I know it's a long class. I'm almost done. I have literally one more pointer that I have to talk about. Hey Dre, can you please clarify this trade? If you lose trade, you go back to max loss. What do you mean if you lose trade, you go back? Do you go back to max loss? If you lose trade, I don't understand this question. Can somebody clarify it for me, please? I don't understand. I think he's asking, do you keep a running total of your losses? Yes, of course I keep running total of my losses. If it's at my max loss for the day, I'm done. If he loses his 200 max, should he use another 200 to make it up? You guys answer this fucking question for him. If you lose his $200 max for the day, should he add another 200 to make it up? No, bro, you're done. Because what if you lose that other 200? What are you gonna do? Add another 400? Add another 800? Khalas, bro, you're done. You're done for the day. You call it a day. You're following your risk management, bro. I swear to God, you see the guys who post in profit losses. You know, today I had a red day. You know, but it's okay because yesterday I had a green day. Yesterday I had a green day. You know, but my risk is managed. You know, if your risk is managed, your risk is managed. It's. I mean, yeah, it is called gambling. Uh, you know, it's all about risk. It's a longevity game. You want to be like most traders, you know, want to trade for the rest of their life. But when they're in tilt mode, they're trading like it's their last fucking day or the last time they will fucking trade. They immediately go into perspective where like, oh my God, you know, I I need to make money. Bro, trade slowly, build up the account slowly. It's all about building the account slowly. You take it, you make money so fast, you're gonna lose it even faster. That's why they say stairs up. If you look at any chart, P&L chart of people who build their accounts, you see it's like this, you know, like this, and then shoo, elevator down. And I swear to God, brother, this is most traders. It will take them 6 months to build and 3 days to destroy. And I've seen this thousands of times. I swear to God. It's happened to me hundreds of times, you know? And I've seen, you know, from students that I've taught in the past, the ones that don't implement risk management are the same ones you ask me, what happened to so and so? He forgot risk management and he blew everything. Bro, trading is it's a very dangerous game. You have to really like it's very fucking dangerous. If you have a family, you have kids to feed, it's very fucking dangerous. Because if you in one fucking day you can lose everything. And when 1 fucking hour you can lose everything. Today in CPI, if you went all in, you sold your house and you put it on calls, you would have gotten destroyed. You know, there's multiple, there's really multiple ways of looking at risk. It's subjective to you. You know, if I have $1 million in the fucking bank account and I have a 5,000 portfolio and I fucking lose 2,000, so fucking what? I still have $1 million and 3,000 left. But if I have $1,000 in my bank account and 2,000 in my portfolio and rent is $700 that's due at the end of the fucking month, bro, slowly risk 100 to make 200, slowly build as you're going, bro. You go too fast, you compare yourself to other traders, you're gonna put yourself in a hole that is even harder to dig yourself out of because not only are you emotionally tied to the money, now you need to make the money back or you fucking failed. You know, you need to prove yourself. So digging yourself in holes, putting yourself in deeper holes, it's hard to get out because, you know, when a trade is down 90%, for example, it has to go up 1,000% just to break even, you know? So you got to look at it from a winner to loser perspective. So before I go, one last thing I want to talk about is the roll-up risk management strategy. One of my favorites. Roll-up risk manage. I'll spell this shit. MGMT. Strat. All right, I have a question here that is actually a really good question. He says, when would you increase your risk? Do you double the account size, then double the risk? Fuck no. You increase the risk as you slowly get accustomed to trading, as you slowly build your account. Bro, I double accounts all the time. I keep the risk the same. You keep the risk the same till you are mentally ready to start taking extra risk. You know, for example, iPhone. I'm risking $3,000 per trade. How much are you risking per trade? For example, tell me. Today, how much did you risk per trade? Answer quickly, bro. It's a number. High risk. Okay, here, I'm gonna use Christian Morales. Masterclass with me for me would be 500. Okay? Okay, Chris. Good job. 500. You're risking per trade. I'm risking 3,000. This guy is saying double. Tomorrow, can you go risk 2,000 for me? Are you mentally prepared to lose 2,000 in one day? Fuck no. The answer is gonna be no. Hell no. You know, you're risking it's the answer is hell no. You have to be mentally prepared to start risking more money. You know, and it takes time. For me personally, you know, the 1,000 to 10,000 stage took like 6 fucking years. This 10,000 to 30,000, that one took like fucking 7 years. The 100,000 risk that I took, that literally took 9 fucking years to be able to handle it, and I still fucking can't handle it, you know? 100,000, I still can't handle it because I tried. I tried. Like I really tried. Like in August, you know, I was making, I swear to God, 100K per trade. I was risking 50,000. I was totally fine. As soon as I touched the 100,000 risk, I could not mentally handle it. So I immediately start to size down. I wasn't mentally prepared. I thought I was mentally prepared, but I was nowhere near mentally prepared to risk $100,000. You know, August was one of my best fucking months. June, July, August was one of my best months. I think I made like, I don't know, 800 or $900,000. I was risking 25K to 30K, then I went to 50K risk, then I went to 90K risk. As soon as I went to 300K position sizing with a 30% stop loss, which is minus 100,000, I literally got mentally like fucked from inside. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't understand the fact that, okay, I'm only down 30%, but I'm down $100,000. You know, I was telling myself, oh, it's okay. It's only down 30%. It will go back up. You know, you're always down 30% on a $1,000 trade, and it always comes back up. Yeah, but on a $1,000 trade, it's only $300. On a 300,000 trade, it's 90 fucking $1,000. You know, and then you sell, for example, and it goes back. You literally go absolutely nuts from inside. So, with the sizing, with the risk, it takes time for you to mentally be able to take on heavier sizing or heavier risk. It's not going to be a, you know, today I risk 200, I made $1,000. Tomorrow I'm gonna risk $1,000. That is how you go to zero even faster. You doubled your account in one day, you're gonna blow it in an hour with that type of question. But yeah, it's a good question to ask because a lot of people do that mistake. Okay, roll up risk management strat. Let's do this once. It's 5:38 a.m. in Sunshine, Kuwait. 5:38 a.m. Let's go, baby. Let's finish this so I can sleep at 6 a.m. I ain't gonna sleep at 6 a.m., but yeah. Okay, roll up risk management strat. Okay. Let's use today as an example. Today is a nice example. So let's do this. Can I do this where I SPX chart and do a screenshot? Can I do a screenshot? Yeah, please tell me I can post a screenshot to the Zoom. Control V. Okay, I cannot post a screenshot to Zoom. Oh well. So trade one. This is for momentum days. This is where the market is running, going up so much or going down so much, and you want to kind of play the momentum. So let's say today I take SPX 49.20 put, my first entry is 10 contracts. What did we enter? 110. And I sold at, what did we sell today? At like 225. Let's just say I sold at my stop loss for this. What was this? This one had no, it was literally, there's no stop loss, but we're gonna just put $1. So the risk is 10% because it never went red. It just went straight green. Take profit was $2, which was 90%. Let's just say 220, 100%. We made on this trade like 172%, but it doesn't really matter. So for this one, it was a 10-to-1 risk to reward trade. It was a really good trade today. So P&L wise, let's just say I bought all the contracts at $1.10 and I sold all the contracts at $1.20, for just easier way to look at this, and I made $1,100. $1,100. How is this 10-to-1? My stop loss was 10%, and my profit was 100%. So 10x. So it's 10-to-1. This is my profit. So I'm gonna look at my daily profit and say it's currently $1,100. I want to keep 70% and risk 30%. So pretty much 1,100 times 0.70. So I want to keep 770, risk $330. So with trade 2, I want to roll down. Let's say the momentum is continuing and I want to take trade 2, SPX 49.10p. So, and I'm just doing it full kind of one port. So I'm taking 10 contracts of this. Let's just say we took them today at $1, and I'm putting stop loss at 0.70. This will result in a $300 loss. My take profit is at $2, which is a $1,000 win. This is about 3.2 RR, 3.3 to 1 RR. Let's just round it to 3 to 1 RR. Okay, let's say this all works out as well. And the profit for this trade is also $1,000 win. Again, for the roll up, in this case, I took 10 contracts with a stop loss at 70, and I'm risking $300 on this trade. And my goal of this trade was to make 1,000 or even say 600. Let's say we took profit at $1.60 just to make life a little bit easier, because not everything is going to be like this, where you're gonna make fucking a shit ton of profit. Why is it not going? How I added it? Come on, bro. I can't edit it. So my gains right now, my daily gains now, my daily profit is now 1,100 plus 1,000 is going to be 2,100. Now I tell you, I want to keep 80%. Let's say I even want to keep 85% and risk 15%. So basically times 0.85, I'm willing to keep 1,785. And now my risk is going to be 100 times 0.15 is also going to be risk 315. Now trade 3. I want to take SPX 4900 put, and the last roll up usually fails, you take first one. So I think maybe this one could fail, so I'll take, let's say, 3 contracts at $1. No stop loss. Trade failed. Lose $300. End of day P&L after 3 trades is 1,785. I want to keep 100% and risk 0. When you're looking for a roll up, you want to use your profit, you want to take a small risk from it, you want to roll it into the contract, you want to put a proper stop loss. You can look at it multiple ways. You can do it where, like, you're doing this trade right here. You can do it where it's like trade 2, where you're taking 3 contracts at 300, for example, at $1, which is a total of $300, which is the max risk, and then no stop loss. And let's say this one, take profit, hit at $2, which it did. $2 hit. In this case right here, you made $300, right? Your profit is a $300 win. And then once you're looking at it from here, now, if you took this trade, my P&L, instead of being 2,100, is going to be 1,400. And then you kind of just size it in however you want to size it. There's many ways to look at this, for a roll up. You can do it, if you want to give yourself a little bit more room, you can do it where it's 3 contracts at $1, or you can do it where you can give yourself a stop loss. Now, when you're buying with more size, your profit is going to be larger. When you're buying with less size, your profit's going to be smaller. But in the same case, right here, you have no stop loss. It's going to end with a minus 300, regardless if you hold it to 0. In this case, if you give it a 30% stop loss, it's also going to come back with a 300%, $300 loss. The way I want to end this class is I just want to tell you risk management is subjective to you as a trader. Some people will see 2,100 and say, fuck it, I want to keep the entire thing. Some people will say 1,100 and say, fuck it, I want to keep the whole thing. Some people will see this 2,500 and say, you know what? I'm feeling fucking fantastic this morning. I want to keep 50%. I want to risk 50%. You know what? I even feel it completely degenerate this morning. I want to go risk 90% of this profit, which is 1,900, but it's okay. If I lose that 1,900, I will still be up $210 and I'm completely happy. It's all subjective to you. If you build a risk management strategy that works best for you, you're always going to be on top of your competition, which is the market. So there's really multiple ways to look at this. There's really no right or wrong way to look at this. Coming into each day, just establish how much you're willing to lose more than how much you're willing to make. How much am I going to lose against how much I'm willing to make? Okay, I'm going to lose, let's say, $100, and establish the trade in your eyes. If I enter here with $1,000 sizing and my stop loss is minus 20 and my take profit is plus 40, from a risk to reward standpoint, this is a 2-to-1 RR. I'm going to set all my trades like this. I'm going to take 10 trades. If 6 of them are losers and 4 of them are winners, I'm going to still end up profit. What is your win rate? Look at your win rate. I have a really, really high win rate, Hassan. Go to 1-to-1, stop, go to 1-to-1. Put $10,000 risk, take profit 10,000. If you have a really low hit rate, you want to look for those higher percentage plays where you're risking 20 to make 40, risking 20 to make 60, risking 30 to make 100. You want to look at for these so you're able to kind of set yourself up for kind of failure. When you're looking at SPX, your sizing has to be smaller than when you're looking at AMD. AMD expires in 5 days or 10 days. SPX expires in 5 fucking hours. So the way you want to look at risk is completely subjective to what you're trading. You're trading a contract that expires in a month. You can go 100,000 sizing with 10% stop loss because it has a month to expiration. It's probably gonna range between -5, -7. If you're trading, a stock that expires in an hour, obviously your stop loss is not going to do anything. So you want to keep your sizing minimized and sizing small. I'm going to end this session right here, which is almost 2 hours, an hour, 51 minutes, because I know, not a lot of people are going to go watch from here. So I'm going to stop the share right here. And I'm going to end the recording right here. And then I have a few key points for my masterclass. But I hope you enjoyed this class, whether you're in my masterclass or whether you're in the Discord. I'm glad you were invited here. Some of you asked me in the VC, so I'm glad to have you here. For my masterclass mentees, we are going now into the tape dark pool sections, which is in the next week. I don't have class on Thursday. I know Mitchell wants me to do class, but I need to record the tape. So we're going to keep the schedule same on Tuesday, 8 p.m., 4 classes. We'll run through it and we'll kill it like that. I'm going to record the tape in the next coming weeks so you can kind of learn as we go. And then in the live VC trading, because I'm doing it for the entire Discord, a lot of it is also going to be, I'm going to show you live how to read, for the people in class, you'll probably understand it more because we're applying it. For the people in the Discord, just go with the flow, getting a free mentorship, no problem. Anyways, have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful night if you enjoyed today's class. Also, 74 guys are in here. Man, go to my recent Instagram post. I just posted a video. Hit the like on it. Make it go up in views. To post content and stuff like that. But I will see you all tomorrow in the Discord. I'm gonna end the recording here just so it's not long.